I'm back because of your arrogant foreign policy towards the Islamic State. Because of your
The identity of ISIS fighter Jihadi John is revealed and confirmed by 2 U.S. officials to be British national Mohammed Emwazi.
Obama have yet again.
More than 180 people are dead in an Afghan village after a series of devastating avalanches.
In fact, I had said no to doing that kind of thing.
And a pretrial date is set for former CBC host Jian Ghomeshi in Toronto.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Hannah Hollingsworth, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. The so-called Jihadi John killer featured in several beheading videos from the militant group ISIS has been identified.
You, like your foolish allies in the satanic coalition, have yet to understand that we, by Allah's grace, are an Islamic caliphate with authority and power.
U.S. media have identified Kuwaiti-born British national Mohammed Emwazi as the man who beheaded several ISIS hostages on tape. The videos released by ISIS show a man with a British accent brandishing a knife before killing the hostages. His face remains covered throughout the videos. The Washington Post says Emwazi grew up in London in a middle-class family and graduated from the University of Westminster with a degree in computer programming. It's believed Emwazi first visited Syria in 2012 and joined the militant group shortly after. Government forces are on the move in eastern Ukraine. A military convoy was seen traveling along a highway in the conflict-torn region Thursday, but their final destination isn't known. Sources say Ukraine is expected to order the withdrawal of its heavy weapons from the Eastern Front, a condition of the peace deal that continues to hold by threads. The moves come as pro-Russian rebels are also withdrawing their heavy weapons from the area after originally spurning the truce. Thursday marks only the second day no combat deaths have been reported since the February 15th ceasefire was declared. 3 people have been killed, including the attacker, after a suicide car bomber exploded by the side of a Turkish embassy vehicle in Afghanistan. The explosion in front of the Iranian embassy in Kabul also destroyed 3 nearby vehicles. Government troops blocked off the area shortly after the blast, fearing the possibility of a second explosion. The Taliban has claimed responsibility. And just outside the Afghan capital, more than 180 people have been killed in the worst avalanches in decades. Heavy snow has been falling for days north of Kabul, trapping people in their homes and blocking roads. More than 100 people were injured. Officials are warning of a humanitarian emergency in the worst-hit areas. Here at home, the high-profile sexual assault case against former CBC personality Jian Ghomeshi is moving ahead. A pretrial date was set in a Toronto court this morning for March 27th. Unlike his earlier court date last year, Ghomeshi did not attend today's session. Only his lawyer was present. The former broadcaster is facing 7 charges of sexual assault and 1 charge of overcoming resistance choking. Ghomeshi has been out on bail since November. He has denied all the charges. If you want to own your own little piece of Toronto history, it can be all yours, but it'll cost you.
Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
When,
but
sir?
No, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you?
Have I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. I answered your question.
Rob Ford is auctioning off more personal items on eBay. Some of the Ford memorabilia up for grabs include a pair of used pajama pants, a Saskatchewan Roughriders jersey, and yes, the crack tie.
Yes, I have smoked
In his
crack
description
cocaine.
of the tie online, Ford says it's
But
a one-of-a-kind
no,
original.
do I? Am I
So
an
far,
addict?
the
No.
tie
Have
looks
I
to be
tried it?
fetching the most, with a
Probably
current
in one
top
of my
bid of
drunken
more than
stupors, probably approximately
$3,200.
about a year ago.
Ford says he'll be giving
I answered the
10% of the
question.
proceeds to charity.
You asked the question properly, I'll answer it.
Gas is putting the brakes on inflation in Canada. Statistics Canada says inflation slowed to 1% in January, down from 1.5% in December. Gas prices greatly affected the January slump, hitting the lowest they have been since the spring of 2009. StatsCan says gas prices have fallen almost 35% since last June. Overseas now, if you're planning to cheat on your spouse, move to South Korea. Adultery is now legal in the country. The 60-year-old law against it was deemed unconstitutional by South Korea's highest court. The decision is said to have been made because it infringes on people's right to make their own decisions on sex and secrecy. Prosecutors say almost 900 people were indicted on adultery charges last year. And Australian researchers have found something new to make with a 3D printer: jet engines. The engineers unveiled the prototype today. They say the design could reduce research and testing periods for jet engines, as well as boost the country's manufacturing sector. Australia is one of only 3 countries that own 3D printers large enough to print metals. Meanwhile, out on the final frontier, scientists have discovered a massive black hole that is challenging theories on how fast they can grow. Scientists say the black hole was formed 900 million years after the Big Bang and is about 12 billion times the size of the Sun. They say its growth rate doesn't fit in the current theory that black holes have a limit to how fast they can grow. The red spot on the graph is the newly discovered black hole compared to others in the universe. Back on Earth here at Humber, we're celebrating Black History Month with a little rhythm and a whole lot of beat. An African drumming workshop presented by Baba Williams hit campus this afternoon. The presentation explored the leadership principles of Nelson Mandela through anecdotes, proverbs, and beats. The first 50 students were given the opportunity to play their own drums. The workshop included an anti-bullying presentation and is meant to help students erase their hate. Have a listen. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Andrea Fernandez will have your 3-day forecast.
It's cloudy and cold and feels like minus 21 with the wind chill. And don't expect those temperatures to let up anytime soon. I'll have a look at your 3 full-day forecast after the break.
But first, Prince William was given a warm, though wet welcome in Tokyo on Thursday. The Duke of Cambridge was accompanied by Tokyo's governor, who walked him through the ancient gardens that were once held by a feudal lord in the 19th century. He then took part in a traditional tea ceremony. Prince William's wife Kate did not travel with him because she's pregnant with their 2nd child. To music royalty now, Madonna has kept wardrobe malfunctions in vogue after taking a tumble at the Brit Awards. The Material Girl was taken down by her couture at the star-studded event last night. The fall happened while Madonna was singing Living for Love. She was supposed to loosen her cape before her dancers pulled it away. But, as the song says, the pop star lifted herself up and went on with the show. Madonna later thanked fans on Instagram for well wishes. She says she's just fine.